Hello, I'm Dr. Mario Martinez, and I want to discuss a topic that is very, very popular right now and very important, and it has to do with leadership post-COVID. What happens with leadership? What happens with the people that are supposed to be moving us in the right direction when you have a pandemic situation, when you have something as difficult as COVID? It has affected lives, people have lost lives. And the question then is, what happens psychologically? What happens even in a neurological and especially immunological way? And what happens with human beings is that when there's a crisis, when there's a situation that will affect your sense of mortality, there's a psychological process that goes on. People were forced to go into their caves, home, and they were forced to reevaluate. So what happens, whether you do it consciously or not, is that you begin to evaluate what matters in your life. And for leadership, that's really very important. What matters in your life? What were you doing too much of that wasn't important? What were you not doing enough of? And this is why it's so important that's happened with industries. Many companies have found that they don't need to have people working at their offices, that they can work from home. So I think COVID has created a catastrophic situation, but also an opportunity to learn and to grow. And leaders need to not lead, but inspire. People don't need to be led. They need to be inspired by the action of the leader. And the leader always has to bring a sense of serenity and a sense of hope. If you don't have that, then what you do is you create fear. So in the United States, for example, many people are quitting their jobs, even though they don't have a job. So it's not the money, it's not the profession. What's happening is that as they begin to evaluate their meaning, whatever has sense in their lives, and they see that it's not being met at work, then they immediately want to change, even to the extent of economics, because some of them quit. And right now, there's a problem in the United States with people quitting their jobs and not knowing what they're going to do. And I think the psychology of it is that they have found that what they were doing didn't have meaning. So it's very important to evaluate, what is it that I was doing before COVID at my work, with my family, that was excessive or that I wasn't paying enough attention to? And what is it that I need to do now in my life, whether I stay at home and work from home or whether I go back to work or get another job? But the mistake is to go back to the same old thing. The mistake is not assessing what it is that was missing or that you were doing too much and then changing it. Otherwise, what happens is you go into the same old thing. And people are very stressed out. Many executives that I work with have problems with hypertension and gastrointestinal problems because of the lives they lead. And sometimes leaders think that it has to be all about production without looking at the wellness component. And wellness is very important because the leader has to be healthy. Your creativity goes down, your productivity goes down when you're not healthy. And to be healthy, there has to be meaning in what you do. Immunologically, there has to be meaning. In every sense, in what is meaning? Meaning is value in what you're doing. And one of the things that I find in working with large corporations is that people get sick with two components. One is that you give them a job with responsibility without authority. They don't have access to resources to do the job. It causes immunological deficiencies. Or you give them a job that has no meaning. Do it and don't worry about it. That also causes some problems. So you want to evaluate, what was I doing that I didn't have enough access to the resources to do my work? And did my job have meaning? Did it have value? Does it have a service? Does it have something that means something? And there are corporations that are based on meaning, which is value. Apple is a company that does value. Other companies are just profit. And other companies are power. You have to have a little of both. But to be sustainable, it has to be a vision and a mission of value. That's the most important thing that you can have in your wellness in your life. Because we value ourselves and what we do. If we don't, there's a major problem. Because then we're working without meaning. And we're the only animal that requires meaning. Every other animal, they do things, but a rat doesn't know that there's meaning in what they do. But as individuals, we do. And in my area of expertise, which is called psychoneuroimmunology, PNI for short, we look at meaning and how it affects the immune system. People get sick when they lose their meaning. People get sick when they don't have access to resources. So the message, COVID is an opportunity to increase your wellness by increasing the meaning in your life, by increasing the value of the relationships that you have with people, and by getting away from multitasking, which has been shown to be very ineffective, not only as production, but as far as wellness, it doesn't work very well. So I hope this helps. This is a way of bringing together something that was very negative and putting it into a place that says, okay, now what is the value of this? We suffered. Now, how can we gain from all of this? How can we become better people by changing what was something that didn't have meaning and adding more meaning into your life, whether in relationships, at work, or whatever? The importance is that you have to be valued to feel that you exist, and the existence has to do with value, not just with living.